There is growing outrage tonight.
The largest police force is facing a serious controversy.
The video of a dramatic and deadly encounter between police and a homeless man.
Unarmed African-American teenager was shot and killed by police,
showing officers arresting a suspect who later died.
Do prisons make you feel safe, and why?
Prisons do make me feel safe because they're keeping the criminals off the streets. People that have had major offenses are off the streets, so murderers, thieves. They're put away that makes, it safe for us to walk around and live our everyday lives.
You were sentenced to life without parole for possession of marijuana?
America has about 4% of the world's people and about 25% of the world's incarcerated people. We have the highest incarceration rate in the world. Over the last 30 years, that number has skyrocketed, increasing over 400%. 41% of American juveniles and young adults have been arrested by the time they turn 23. Children as young as 13 years old have been sentenced to die in prison.
Prisons make me feel safe. I wouldn't say they necessarily make me feel safe because there are millions of bad guys on the street. Also, there is a problem, I would say, with our prison system because officers, or it has been documented that they tend to target more minorities and tend to charge minorities for the same crimes that our Caucasian counterparts do. So as a minority myself, I tend to fear if, say, I do something illegal, will I end up in prison unlike somebody else? So are they safe? Do they make me feel safe? Maybe, because they have some of the bad guys off the street, but then they're also not putting the ones that need to be in there. They're over here locking up people for weed, which is illegal in some states now, instead of focusing on people who actually need to be in prison.
They're targeting minorities, and me being a part of the minority community, I wouldn't want to be targeted.
As a minority, I feel like heavily targeted by police, like just for existing. I feel like prisons are just filled with like poor people of color with small offenses. And I feel like there are white people who are doing the same thing, if not worse, and they rarely ever get the same sentencing for it.
Prisons do not make me feel safe. I think that if I see a cop or if I see anybody interacting with a cop, there's a fear there rather than a feeling of like, oh, they're doing a good thing, they're doing their job. Like I usually just feel like I'm assuming that someone's about to get in trouble for something that isn't endangering anybody. In fact, the cops are endangering people just by doing that. And yeah, the excuse that, cops like shoot people because they're afraid, it's like, well, you're scaring people too, so how is their response to you not just as valid as a cop's response to someone out of fear and killing them? But on the cop side, it's excused because they're a cop, but on like the citizen, the normal individual side, it's not excused. And then if someone isn't killed, then imprisonment is just as like horrifying, especially since prisons are so like rooted in cheap labor. So it's essentially just like a funnel for slavery. So
These wars on crime, wars on drugs, they are wars on people. The smart political move is to appear tough on crime because crime is scary, so we increased minimum sentences, we arrested more people, we sent more of them to prison. That's how we looked tough on crime, but the results are in. It's bad policy.
Do the idea of prisons make you feel safe?
As an African American, no, not at all. I feel like they target minorities. It's a very profitable situation for the government, and they like to, make money off of our pain, off of little mistakes that they wouldn't lock someone else up for. So it's kind of gross if you ask me.
Personally, I do not feel as though prisons make me feel safe. It is well known that the majority of those who are incarcerated are there for petty offenses, meaning that those who are on the outside are those who are committing the actual crimes, and it just don't make me feel safe.
The ideas of prisons, I guess not necessarily, they don't make me feel safe. I guess the people putting those people away makes you feel a little safer, but that spirals because police are corrupt and prison system's corrupt, but whatever, not necessarily.
So I think because of the way that we've been socialized in our society, we get the idea that prisons can make us feel safer. And I can see how that would work because obviously we have the idea that criminals, murderers, rapists, they tend to be hyperalized, which presents a real danger. And so I can see how people would feel that prison would make us safer. I think that I would feel that way too. I can see, sometimes I feel like prisons do make me feel safer as well. But yeah, that does change it. That means that 95% of people probably have had minor offenses and probably aren't really a danger to society. So the fact that they're in prison, probably for a long time, does change my opinion.